我就从来没见过这么不要脸的男人。你说你没有钱，你出来相什么亲呀？昨天那个相亲对象不是约好了请吃饭吗？然后呢，我也就点了一些时令的菜，像帝王蟹呀、黑虎虾呀、小米辽参啊这什么的。然后呢，我就看他家菜品还不错，我就又点了3份小米辽参，还有3份燕窝。我就想着这些呀，打包带回去给我的闺蜜也尝一尝。然后呢，我又点了1只帝王蟹。我说呀，这个要妥善的打包，我要带回去给我弟弟尝一尝，因为他没有吃过嘛。当时呀，这个相亲对象还挺乐呵的。这个饭呀吃到一半的时候，他说他出去打个电话，然后啊，我足足等了2个小时，他都没有回来呀。我给他打电话，他也不接；我给他发微信啊，他竟然把我给拉黑了。你说你们见过这样的人没有啊？最后我也没有办法呀，我只能刷信用卡呀。28000呀，他就这样彻底的消失了，真的是把我给坑死了。
觉得真的挺丢人的，你知道吗？我就点了以前会点的帝王蟹和那个和牛，那菜钱的话大概就是5000块钱这个样子。我都没有点红酒了，点菜的时候我就问过他了，可以随便点吗？他自己说的可以。那等菜上来以后呢，他脸色直接就变了。没想到他中途借口上厕所，就再也没回来过。那我的话也只能刷信用卡把账单给结了。
怎么着，第一次见面非得让男生请客吃饭吗？
What's going on? Does a guy have to buy you a full meal on the first date just to be considered qualified? I just saw a few posts from some girls online, and I really couldn't take it anymore. I had to say something. One after another they were complaining, saying that when they met a blind date for the first time, the guy only bought them coffee or milk tea, and they immediately thought he was a turn-off, and not sincere enough. Honestly, I really don't understand this mindset. When two people meet for the first time, isn't it supposed to be about getting to know each other and seeing if there's any spark? You don't even know each other, why should he be obligated to spend money on a fancy meal for you? Think about it, if it were you, would you really want to have a full meal with a complete stranger right off the bat? Actually, this has nothing to do with how much money the guy makes. Whether he has a high salary or just an average one, money doesn't fall from the sky. Even guys who make 30 to 50,000 yuan a month, many of them still just offer to buy a girl a cup of coffee for the first meeting, just to chat. Because the true purpose of that first meeting is simply to see if the other person looks like their photos, whether the conversation flows, and whether there's a connection, nothing more. Isn't it enough to just find a place to sit down and talk? If the vibe is good, wouldn't grabbing a meal later feel more natural and comfortable? And look, if a guy has gone out with you 3 times and all he ever does is take walks or visit parks, then I get why you might say he's a turn-off. But to slap him with labels like stingy or not proactive, just because he didn't buy you dinner on the first meeting, isn't that kind of a double standard? To put it plainly, treating you to a meal is a favor, not treating you is his right. There's really no need to bash a man just because he didn't buy dinner and call him not good enough. If what you're really looking for is a genuine relationship, then maybe focus on getting to know the person, instead of obsessing over who picked up the tab.
有很多兄弟他都不知道第一次邀约女生应该带她去哪里啊。
There are many brothers who actually have no idea where to take a girl on the first date, and this is a very common issue. But what I want to say is, it really doesn't matter where you go or what you do. The key is, there's one thing you absolutely must not do: don't treat her to a meal. Why do I say this? There are 3 very realistic reasons behind it. The first reason is that you haven't built enough romantic tension with her yet, nor have you established any real sense of familiarity. She might not have ever expressed any interest in you at all. And under these circumstances, if you immediately invite her to a meal, to put it bluntly, it's like you're automatically positioning yourself as the pursuer, or even a bootlicker. In other words, you're lowering your own status right from the start. The second reason is, if you're treating her to a meal, what level of dining are you aiming for? If you take her to a roadside stall, she might instantly think you're stingy and lack class. But if you bring her to a high-end restaurant, you'll end up under a lot of pressure yourself. This creates a dilemma. No matter what you choose, you could be stepping on a landmine. The third reason is the most direct and the most realistic. Even if you're just paying for a meal that costs 100 or 200 yuan, it might seem like a small expense. But have you ever thought about this? You barely know this girl and this is your first invitation. You have no idea whether there will be a future between you two. Are you really willing to start spending money on a relationship that has no certainty? To put it more bluntly, wouldn't it be better to take that 200 yuan and use it to refuel your car? Or buy a few books to improve yourself? Isn't that more meaningful? So, combining these 3 points, treating a girl to a meal on the first date is actually a very unwise decision. You could even say it's the worst choice. Rather than blindly investing, it's better to focus on observing her attitude and your interactions, to see if she's really worth your time and energy.
他跟我说没有房、没有车、没有存款，只请我吃了一个烂大街的烤肉。待会儿回家我就准备把他微信拉黑，电话拉黑。
今天我去相亲了，约在了一家中餐厅见面。
Today, I went on a blind date, and the other party suggested we meet at a Chinese restaurant. I'm usually punctual, so I arrived early, but I didn't rush to order. I just sat and waited for them. In the end, I waited for a full half an hour before anyone showed up. 5 people came at once, 3 young women and 2 older ones. Among the older ones, one was the girl's mother, and the other seemed to be a matchmaker. As for the 3 young women, 2 of them were her close friends. After a brief greeting, they didn't bother being polite at all, and just went ahead and started ordering food. They only ordered what they liked, and in no time, the whole table was filled. I didn't say a word the entire time, just sat there quietly watching. While we were eating, about halfway through the meal, the matchmaker spoke up and said, "Let's stop just eating and talk about the serious stuff. Each of you should state your own requirements." As soon as I heard that, I chuckled, put down my chopsticks, and immediately said, "All right, then I'll go first and lay out my conditions." I said, "I'm willing to marry into your family and live with you, and I have no issue with letting the child take your family's surname. But you must give me a bride price, and the amount must be 288,000 yuan, not a cent less." "Why?" "Because my parents worked so hard to raise me into my 30s, it hasn't been easy. It's the reward they deserve." Then I added, "My second condition is that you must buy a new apartment in the city center, and it must be fully paid up front. I don't want to carry a mortgage after marriage. The apartment also has to be registered under my name. That's my basic bottom line. Third, I want a car, and it has to be the one I've been longing for, Prado. I've liked that car for a long time and never splurged on it. Now is the perfect opportunity to make it happen. Fourth, the wedding must be held in a star-rated hotel, the event must be grand, and the standards cannot be low. As for my name-changing gift, the amount is 88,800 yuan, no bargaining. There's one more thing I made clear. I won't do any housework after marriage." "Why?" "Because I've never done any housework at my parents' home since I was little, so why should I start doing it after getting married?" After I finished saying all this, I clearly saw their expressions. Every single one of them froze. Their faces were blank, their eyes vacant, completely stunned. They didn't say anything, just gave me that, "Is this guy for real?" "Look." I sneered a little inside and asked them, "What's the matter? Looking at me like that, can't accept it, can you? You can't handle it, right?" I went on to say, "Then let me ask you this. Why is it that when women go on blind dates, they can rattle off a whole list of demands? Things like a house, a car, bride price, not working after marriage, the man must be obedient, must be filial to your parents, hand over all his salary, have no temper, keep emotions stable. You can say all that and act like it's perfectly natural. But now when it's my turn as a man to make requests, you're all shocked into silence? Isn't this a textbook example of gold digger mentality? Let me tell you, modern marriage should be mutual effort. You can bring up material needs, but both sides must contribute. You want a house? Then we each pay half. You ask for a bride price? Then I'll ask for a matching dowry. You don't do housework? Then neither will I. Don't expect to treat the man as just an ATM, a nanny, or a sacrificial lamb." After I said all that, not a single one of them could respond. The whole scene went silent. After the meal, the matchmaker suddenly turned to me and said, "Young man, go ahead and pay the bill." I replied directly, "Sorry, I wasn't the only one eating this meal, why should I pay the whole thing?" One of the friends jumped up and said, "You're the man." I said, "So what if I'm the man? Does being a man automatically mean I have to pay? There are 5 of you and 1 of me, who's bullying who here?" I continued, "Either you treat me to the meal, or we split the bill." Otherwise, aren't you just here for a free lunch? Come on, I'm not a fool. People like you at the end of the day just want the man to give everything while you contribute nothing and still nitpick everything. In the end, they had no choice but to split the bill with me. This blind date ended on a sour note. In the end, I just want to say this. Brothers, we must stay alert to this kind of gold digger mindset. We must treat it seriously, and even firmly fight against it.
第一次遇见这么奇葩的相亲对象。
I had the most outrageous blind date of my life. It truly opened my eyes. I arranged to meet him at a Korean restaurant, and the environment was actually quite nice. He walked in, glanced at the menu prices, and his face suddenly changed. He immediately said that choosing a place like this to eat meant I was a gold digger, and added that he despised materialistic women the most. After saying that, he didn't even wait for me to explain, just turned around and left. The scene got really awkward, and quite a few people around us were watching. Although I was blushing from embarrassment at the time, I still forced myself to stay calm. To be honest, I really didn't order anything expensive. It was all light vegetarian dishes. I hadn't even ordered any of the pricier ones. In the end, I was the only one left sitting there, slowly finishing the meal alone. Everyone, take a look. These are the dishes I ordered, basically just some simple vegetarian food.
男生相亲中让人非常下头的5个行为。
Some behaviors from guys during blind dates can really turn women off instantly. Here are the 5 most common red flags. Take a look and see if you've accidentally fallen into any of them. Point 1. Sloppy appearance. No sense of occasion. To be honest, those wrinkled, shapeless clothes you usually wear to work, please don't wear them to a blind date. A blind date may not be a red carpet event, but it's still a first meeting, and you should at least show a basic sense of cleanliness and decency. Wash your hair, shave your beard, iron your clothes. Even if they're not name brands, at least wear something neat and fresh, so the other person can feel that you came prepared and with respect for this encounter. Point 2. Stingy and petty, calculating everything. Although everyone now advocates for gender equality, and many women will actively suggest splitting the bill, AA. Guys, you need to understand that a blind date is not a negotiation table, nor a place to pinch pennies. Having a meal or grabbing a milk tea together doesn't cost much, but it shows your generosity and attitude. The biggest buzzkill? Some guys not only don't offer to pay, they only order for themselves, or even suggest splitting the bill right on the spot, instantly killing the mood. Point 3. Excessive bragging, insincere words. Many guys, trying to leave an impressive first impression, deliberately exaggerate their income, job title, resources, or even fabricate some seemingly amazing experiences. But most of the time, women actually know you're bluffing. They just don't feel like calling you out. This kind of dishonesty only makes you seem insecure, even a bit childish. Point 4. Rude language, over-the-top critiques. Some guys, after too many blind dates, develop a habit of being picky or even critical. They comment on the woman's outfit, her job, her salary, her lifestyle choices, often from a condescending moral high ground. This walking judge panel attitude really makes the room go cold in a second. Point 5. Mama's boy talk, instantly off-putting. Some guys love to start sentences with, "my mom says," like, "my mom says our zodiac signs don't match," "my mom says I need to marry someone born in a certain year," or "my mom says we have to buy a house in our hometown." Even if you're not fully a mama's boy, constantly bringing up your mom's opinions makes you seem indecisive, lacking independence, and as if your future wife would need to get your mom's approval for everything. These 5 turn-off behaviors can seriously ruin a blind date experience. Ladies, if you meet a guy like this, just say no.
A lot of people are wondering why so many men are now extremely cautious about blind dates, and why so many are even unwilling to go on them anymore. Actually, if you ask me, the most critical reason is this. The cost of blind dating is simply too high. Take the experience of one of my friends, for example. He just went on a blind date last week, arranged by a matchmaking agency. And guess what? In just one single day, he spent over 900 yuan. The whole day's itinerary sounded pretty normal, but when you add everything up, the cost just skyrocketed. Early in the morning, the two of them met at Starbucks. 2 cups of coffee and a piece of cake cost 165 yuan right off the bat. Then for lunch, They went to a mid-range restaurant in Daeyueching, ordered 4 dishes and 1 soup, which cost 340 yuan. In the afternoon, they watched a movie and bought some popcorn, drinks, and snacks, almost 190 yuan. In the evening, they strolled through a night market, grabbed some grilled skewers and street food. Even though it was all roadside stalls, it still added up to nearly 200 yuan. You see, from morning till night, just this one date cost over 900 yuan. If he had also prepared a small gift for the first meeting, the total would have easily surpassed 1,000 yuan. And my friend's monthly salary is only 7,000 yuan. If you do the math, just one blind date took up 1/7 of his entire monthly income. Now tell me, for an ordinary working man, if he wants to seriously date a few times or go on several blind dates, isn't that basically burning money? So, nowadays, a lot of young men are backing away from marriage and blind dating, and it's honestly not without reason. Love and marriage are increasingly becoming a kind of luxury consumption, rather than a natural process of 2 people getting to know each other and moving forward together. The pressure of buying a house and getting married is already heavy enough. And now, even the most basic cost of blind dating is becoming more and more unrealistic. Who would dare make a move lightly? So tell me, with such a reality, can we really blame them for having a fear of marriage? How much would you spend on your very first blind date with a girl? Feel free to leave your comments below. I'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next video.